Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In tonight's episode we are looking at Manchester City's recent form. Have they found something in these last 5 games? They are unbeaten despite a heartbreaking draw last night against Monaco. Have they got back to form? Let's get it, Christian. Okay, Christian, Manchester City are unbeaten in the last 5 games. After a very tough start to the season, you lost to Tottenham, you lost to Brighton. You were going into that derby against my guys with a little bit like must win already, and you did win. You then beat Napoli, you then nearly beat Arsenal, you then battered Burnley, and you should have beat Monaco. Talk to me about the last 5 games, Christian. Obviously, you were very scathing of the opening few games of the season. What have you seen? What have you liked? What have you not liked in the last 5 games?
I think form has actually picked up a little bit, so I think my spin on it will be more positive than you would probably expect, to be fair, Alex. I think there's been quite a few things to take. I think of late, Doku has really hit some form. I think he slowed his decision-making in the final third. Doesn't seem to be rushing at a million miles an hour. Which is, to be fair, I didn't see it coming. I really didn't see it. I just thought, I've always said to you, Alex, the amount of times I've come to you and gone, Doku is what he is. He's a one-trick pony. But in fairness, look, he's playing a lot better. And, if this continues, then at least we've got that position sort of nailed down in a way. Look, you would want him to be a little bit more productive. I want him to be a bit more decisive in his shooting. However, the signs that he's shown that he is actually slowing and taking his time in the final third and not rushing, I think there's a possibility that things could come on a little bit there. And I never, ever thought I'd say that about Jeremy Doku. But we'll see what happens there. I think Foden's return to form has been huge for us as well. His link-up play, playing close to Reinders, tight, neat passing lanes. When he gets on the edge of the box, it's his position, man. When he gets the ball and he's got his back to the box and he can wriggle in and out and he can find Haaland, that beautiful chip in I think it was the Champions League, that one. And that's where he's at his best. We need to find him in them pockets because that is where you're going to get the best out of Phil Foden because he has a skill set that not many players have. And we've got to utilise that because we don't have that killer passer anymore. We don't have that De Bruyne moment, which we can just lean on. You know what I mean? So we need to be more tactile around this. And I think last night you saw that in the first half against Monaco, Alex. I think I was really impressed with the passing, quick passing, really impressive. We were getting into the final third, and we were actually navigating our way rather than just running out of ideas, punting it out wide, Vardiol's or Diaz, whoever it is, just lumping it in, getting cleared. It seemed like the City of old, in some sense. Look, obviously, we've got a long way to go, and we do need better things from certain players. I think the biggest negatives for me, or biggest worries currently, are that our midfield and defence just seem to get walked through. It really does. I mean, what was your take last night? Did you watch the game last night, bro?
Yeah, I watched the game last night. I think you are right. I think there's been a bit of continuity results as well. The same team seems to be playing. Obviously you've got the other concern of fitness, but at the minute, I really do think reps over fitness right now is the way to go. And don't be worrying if somebody gets injured. I mean, look, we'll come to Haaland in a minute because the heavy lifting that guy's doing in front of goal is just, even by his standards, is supernatural. But we'll come to Haaland separately. I think that, I think Foden's looking nice in that 10. I think he looks sharp. Doku is a bit better out wide. He still goes through stretches of games where he can't find a final ball to save his life. But we know, I think you'll take some improvements from Doku, which he has improved, to be fair. And he's much more of a threat now. You actually think something might come at the end of it, even if it doesn't. O'Reilly's playing well at the minute. You've got...
very good show.
I thought Diaz and Gvardiol were coming into a bit of form, and then last night I didn't think they were great.
Alex, I think this thing with Diaz, so I've got something to raise with you. So obviously, look, I'm not going to say we need to play every single week like we played Arsenal. I understand that's not going to be possible, but I think we need to have an element of that going into every game. I think this defence, playing high, they simply can't do it. And when the rest of the team pushes on, when there's too big of a gap between the midfield and the defence, we are fucked every single time. I mean, last night, Alex, I saw Balogun and he was having runs at Vardy Diaz, and it was a mismatch. And I'm thinking, this is Balogun. In fairness, no disrespect to the guy, but this is not Europeans elite. It's not even Premier League elite. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this thinking this is a concern. And Pep, I understand why he went with this high line. I get what he was thinking. He was thinking, well, if we press so high, we're going to offensively benefit. Plus, we can play offside traps. Now, where we are falling short of this is that teams are thinking, well, I don't even need to time my run perfectly because I've got yards on these boys. So it doesn't need some genius ball to take these out of the game. We saw it with Tottenham. Alex, we've seen it against the lesser teams. And it is concerning that it keeps rearing its ugly head. I think Vardy and Diaz, they have the potential to be solid. You saw it at Arsenal. But it was when we dug in deep. And I think that's the only way we're going to look compact with them two in the back line. Because when you've not got Kusanov with that recovery pace, what do we really have in terms of getting back? Do you know what I mean? When teams have got pacey front three, we are in trouble week in, week out.
Your best two defensive performances of the season have been versus Manchester United and against Arsenal, when you had less of the ball in one and significantly less of the ball in the other. And you sat in, you were more compact, you're right, the midfield and the defence is closer together. Like you said, if it gets remotely stretched, it's just, you're on a prayer that the opponent doesn't get something from the transition, really. And I do think this is a thing with Diaz and Gvardiol. I think they can find some form and some solidity, but I think the team structure's got to be built to support them. Look, you're right, you can't play Burnley at home and have Gvardiol and Diaz sat on the edge of your box. I appreciate Arsenal are a very, very good side, and you fell on that. I actually think you fell on that against United, actually, where you realised that, you know what, we can play without the ball. We were relatively in control against United. We were dangerous against United in the second half without the ball. Can we do the same? I know Arsenal went one step further, and Arsenal are a far better side than Man United. But I do think that you're right. I think the away games in the Prem, and it's something to look at, because Burnley are terrible, probably going to get relegated.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like Bournemouth's away, Forest away, Newcastle away. Those sort of fixtures against your 10th to 6th teams in the league. Are we going to sit in a little bit there? Because you've got Haaland. He's going to get you a goal. If you can keep clean sheets, you're going to see yourself in that top three, right?
Yeah, I think, look, the rest of the league is where it's at, and I don't think we're going to struggle for top four this season. Donnarumma coming in has just transformed this side. There's a lot of times, I mean, I don't know if you just remembered, it was like a volley back post yesterday. He caught it so well. Forgive me, I can't remember who the Monaco player was. Yeah. And Donnarumma, strong right hand down to his side. I was thinking, if that's Edison, it goes in. And I was not one of these dickheads that was slating Edison, by the way. You know how much I appreciate what that guy did for not only City, but football in general. However, I was looking at a lot of these chances this year that come up against City, and I'm thinking, I've got that confidence. We sort of have a bit of insurance policy with Donnarumma. And I think, look, I'm not saying I don't want us to overuse it. You know, at the end of the day, your keeper saving the ball is ultimately the last-ditch attempt at not going down or the other team not equalising. But I think it's something we can lean on a little bit. And I think we need to balance this because, bro, when we're playing, it doesn't really matter now. Rodri is where he is with either his fitness, post-recovery. Wherever Rodri's at, he is currently nowhere near the level he once was. Whether we're going to see Rodri again at that level, who knows? You know what I mean? That's just time will tell. Now, the alternative is Nico Gonzalez. I don't rate Nico Gonzalez. He is not Manchester City level. Don't think he's Champions League level, if I'm being totally honest. I think he's a mid-table midfielder. Very average. I think when he's on the ball, he looks for the easy pass. He doesn't look to progress the team forward. You look what we had when we had Rodri. Now, I'm not, of course, comparing him to a Ballon d'Or winning midfielder. I'm not expecting that from him. But the bare minimum, Alex, when you're in a team like that, is you're going to have to look at transitioning the ball forward. That's your position. You need to get it to the danger men. There was a time yesterday, obviously, he was very unfortunate, which we'll get into with the Monaco goal. Well, I believe he was anyway. That happened, and his head just sort of looked a bit down, and then he's like playing the easy ball, and there was like a few minutes of added time to go, and he was playing the ball back, and I'm thinking, oh, this isn't just a player with like a quality issue. I think the mentality of these guys, Alex, I just don't see it with certain ones. And I think the way we're going to have to play, I do like Reinders, but after that electric start against Wolves, which now we're like, we're looking at Wolves' continued lack of form, and we're thinking, well, was it more that, or have City actually got a bit of an issue with Reinders? Now, I do really like Reinders, and I think he can come good. I think we've seen this before with Pep Guardiola. Bernardo Silva, first season, really wasn't high under Pep Guardiola. Even Ilkay Gundogan, when he first come in, Leroy Sané. I think you give a players a bit of leeway, and that number 8 role for Pep is very demanding. And I think it's different to play number 8 for any other side because you've got a lot more work to do offensively. Like, say playing an 8 for somebody else, anything you do offensively is more of a bonus in that number 8 position. Now, with City, it's pivotal. You are actually pivotal to us going on and winning games. And I think that's where he's going to have to really get used to things. So I'll give him time to get up to speed. But, bro, to get some form and really keep this going, keep this train rolling, we have to get a situation between the defence and the midfield which works. Because currently, it doesn't. We are too easily got at. When the space is that wide in between the midfield and the defence, it's suicide against any half-decent front three.
Yeah, I mean, how concerned are you with Rodri at the minute? Obviously, you touched on that. You touched on your thoughts on Nico, which I agree with. I don't think he's City standard. He like you said, mid-table, maybe like an 11th, 12th midfielder in the league sort of thing. Yeah. Obviously, Rodri is back, in theory. Well, 2 questions. How surprised were you that you saw Rodri last night after the reports from Pep Guardiola himself saying he has pain in his knee that he tore an ACL in? To see him last night, okay, didn't play against Burnley, I don't think. I think the comments were on the back of that. Obviously, wasn't great again. He got caught on it, and he looks like he's struggling a little bit. What are your thoughts with Rodri at the moment? Obviously, I don't know what to make of it.
He looks very clunky at the moment. Like, his play is not clean. He's struggling in situations where usually you would see him thrive. He was the best in world football at getting the ball in situations that no other number 6 wants them in, and now he doesn't want them in them situations either. So it's worrying. However, I can't really gauge it too much at the moment because, as you just said yourself, Pep's saying he's feeling pain in his knee. Should he even be playing, Alex, is the big question. And really, look, if he's feeling pain, for me, it's very simple. If he's feeling pain in a post-ACL knee, he shouldn't be playing minutes, Alex. I mean, I hear this thing, and they were talking about it on TalkSport, and they were saying nowadays they actually say the best way to recovery is almost playing through it, and you will be able to build on the fitness. Now, yes, I get that in terms of match fitness. So then, like, clunky touches and positionally you will improve and your awareness. I don't agree with that if he's admitting he's got pain in a knee that he had ACL surgery a year ago.
It's difficult. Obviously, Guardiola's not gone into loads of detail on what the pain is. Is it nerves? Has he got discomfort? Is it scar tissue?
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know what it is in there.
Nothing's been disclosed. So
obviously, you like to think he's been under an MRI scanner, and they've not found anything that requires even a clean up, a bit of arthroscopic surgery or something where they go in and tidy up a little bit. We don't know. I mean, but it's just surprising. But Pep does smoke and mirrors the media a little bit with players. I think it is. I think the concern is for you is like maybe just take him out then. Take Rodri out the firing line. But you don't love Nico. Kovacic is. I don't know where Kovacic is. You've lost Gundogan. You've lost De Bruyne. What is your options in there, Chris? Is it just Nico and hope Haaland outscores teams? Like what?
Yeah, I think that would be pretty much it. I mean, Kovacic apparently was coming back from injury a few weeks ago, saw City extra post, and then I've just not seen anything of him.
He's not played, has he?
Don't know if he's re-injured himself or something like that in training, but I honestly can't give too much information on that. I really don't know. I would have expected to have seen him by now, at least in a sub-appearance or something. So Kovacic, I think, could work. Kovacic and Reinders is quite solid. So I don't actually mind that. Nico just isn't that level. He really isn't. Alex, Kovacic is actually a good midfielder. I don't think Nico Gonzalez is. That's ultimately where I draw the line. Is Kovacic City level either for what we want to be? No, but he is better and he's capable of actually playing that role, especially if you've got a Reinders next to him who's like that hybrid, 8 that can also go back and he can do a little bit. And I think that's what we need at this time. I would say Rodri, I'd completely agree with you. I think we need to really... I mean, when has this become that you have ACL surgery and next minute you're just subbing him in, he's playing 20 minutes, then it's like, no, he's going to play almost full 90s in wherever that Club World Cup was, Saudi or wherever.
That was so stupid.
I just don't understand why we've rushed him into this situation. We were just asking for trouble. We really were, and I think now we're in the Prem season, and we're at this. Luckily, we have got a bit of a stretch of games where I think if you are going to take him out the side, I'd do it now, because I think, look, if Kovacic is ready to play, I really don't know. If he is, put Kovacic in. If not, even Gonzalez. You know my thoughts on him. Everyone else watching this does, but it's the devil in the deep blue sea. I would much rather see Nico Gonzalez there, build Rodri's fitness in the background, and get the Rodri that we know and love back. Because I don't want this situation where he's in and out the team, he's got more pain. We're not getting much out of him anyway, Alex, because his level, I'm going to be totally honest right now, it's not that much higher than Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah, no,
and I'm being totally honest there. Rodri is a Ballon d'Or winner. He's one of my favourite ever players for this club. But right now, he is not on it, and he has not been on it. I thought, honestly, he's had one good game. I thought Napoli, he had a stinker against Man United. He was giving the ball away, rolling under his foot, passing it to the wrong team. They were pressing him. They actually fancied it against Rodri, which was sad to see. We're playing Man United, who ultimately struggle in that position more than any other. That was alarming. Then we went and played Napoli, plays again. But he was actually really good against Napoli. But then at the end of it, I was thinking, they did have 10 men. They didn't want to come out their half. And he wasn't getting put in situations where he could be found wanting. You know what I'm saying?
He's playing against 10. It's like United against Chelsea the other week. We looked all right.
What can you take?
But I think you're right, mate. I've personally had ACL reconstruction, and I know the difficulties of coming back. You can get pains in your knee. I still get pains in my knee. From like nerve endings, and if I kneel down, I get pain. It doesn't mean anything's wrong, but I'm not a pro athlete. I don't play for Manchester City at the Prem. So look, I think they've got to be careful with it. Why not? I mean, quick word just before we get to the big man up front, Christian. Do you want to just talk about Nico O'Reilly and how well he's playing at the moment? And I thought he was good again last night.
Nico O'Reilly, mate, I think we all forget this guy's actually playing out of position. This is not this guy's natural position. And there's a part of me that thinks,
I think it suits him.
If he is this good, it does really suit him. But defensively, he's so good. For a player that this just isn't his role, how well he's adapted. And it actually makes me think, what about Nico O'Reilly in the six? You know what I mean? We're slinging Gonzalez in there, who, just because he says that's his position and we were stupid enough to pay that fee for him, it doesn't mean that Nico O'Reilly won't be better in that position. Because I think he would be. He's better on the ball. I tell you what, he's a brave lad. You look at Arsenal, he goes to the Emirates away, bit of a cauldron of an atmosphere, and he wins the ball left back and decides to go for the Megs. You know what I mean? This guy is ballsy. He can transition the ball forward. He's not going to pussy out and play the easy ball. I think he's powerful. His runs forwards have been brilliant, and his passing even has improved this year. I think Nico O'Reilly has been a real standout performer, and it's almost given us a bit of a what do you do with, obviously, Ryan Aït-Nouri coming back. Aït-Nouri started well, but then I don't feel it suits him when Doku plays, because we don't really get the best out of Aït-Nouri, because he can't get in the positions where he's most effective. He kind of has to... Doku plays in such a way which he doesn't even need a decoy. Doku's the decoy and he's the end guy somehow. So Ryan Aït-Nouri's kind of left on a little bit of an island, and he's more...
Also, O'Reilly's a better defender.
O'Reilly's a better defender, I agree with that. And also, O'Reilly, in terms of coming, if you're drifting in and inverting, which we know Pep likes to do, then he's going to be better at that as well. So it's a bit of a headache, really. So I'm not too sure what could go on there.
No, I think it leans to your point of being solid at the back, and I think O'Reilly leans into that at the minute. And obviously you've got Gavardio Diaz. You don't know what version you get. Well, I think I do get them two quite easily now. I think that when they're fully focused and they're defending smaller spaces, I actually think they're pretty good. I think that's why against Arsenal they were elite. I think in a Mourinho side they'd be fantastic, both of them. I think in a Pep Guardiola team they're struggling against teams that they want, like last night, like you said, Balogun's fucking running 60 yards at them and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get to this is the main bit of the episode, right, Christian? Erling Haaland. Let's talk about how amazing he's playing at the moment, not just the goals, the link-up play. I know we've been talking about this. Yeah, I mean, do you want to just talk to me about Haaland? Obviously, another couple last night.
Erling Haaland, what can I say? I mean, where would we be without this guy? And not just his goals, Alex, what he brings attitude, mentality wise. We all saw them interviews after the game. And he's
we'll come to that.
Fuck off, I'm not happy with man of the match, 2 goals. Like, I want to win. And all the rest of these boys should be fucked off, and I absolutely love that. Like I said before, this guy should be the captain. But going back to his performance in general, his main criticism from opposition fans, from dickhead pundits, has always been he doesn't get involved in the game enough. Now, funnily enough, they actually brought this up to him, this reporter, last night after the match, and he said, I don't really understand what you mean by that, because I'm always involved in the game. I'm always thinking. I'm always doing things that is affecting the opponents. And it is so true. It's such a lazy narrative that people try to push. And also, you made a great point a couple of weeks ago, Alex. Even if they want to run with that then, and they want to say, oh, well, he doesn't influence the game enough. He touches it 2 times a game. Right, yeah, but if he scored 2, does that not show you he's the most productive? His execution is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's a compliment. And how they don't look at it like that is ridiculous. But yeah, mate, his performances of late, you give this guy an inch, he takes a mile, and he just keeps doing it again and again and again, and somehow he still has more to prove. Like, I don't know, people, I don't feel like he gets the respect he deserves. When he gets a chance, Alex, I have no doubt he puts it away. I am so confident. And he's even now getting these goals where, it's like last night, the runs in behind, the chip, the unorthodox finishes that guy gets. For such a big guy, he's so agile. It's ridiculous.
When City are playing around the opposition's penalty box and Haaland makes those sharp movements, there's no room to really get him behind, but he somehow finds it.
Yeah.
And he certainly can't take a touch, because this isn't your in behind like against United when he had the whole half to run through. This is like the team's camped in. He's got
low
a quick
block,
eye with
the most
Foden.
difficult situation a big bulky striker could imagine, really.
Exactly. A chip over the defender's shoulder. You've got to hold him off and beat the keeper who's on rushing. He does it consistently at a clip. It's verging on ridiculous. And I think you mentioned the interview, and I want to talk to you about, got some little reference points here that I took notes of, and I want to hit you with them, and just sort of how his scathing reaction last night in a game that I thought you were okay in, actually. But I do think maybe he's just getting a bit... I think when you're doing the heavy lifting he's doing, I think if you're tossing stuff away at the end, right decision, wrong decision, whatever, he didn't say much on the decision, Haaland. He was certainly referencing that the second half performance was not good enough. Christian, he mentioned these things, I'm paraphrasing, but didn't play good enough. Didn't deserve to win. We need more energy. We are not good enough. And he referenced going out the Champions League early last season. That is scathing from Haaland. I mean, what was your reaction to that interview?
I liked it personally because I think it's accountability. And look, what I like about Haaland is he included himself in this, which, by the way, he didn't. He's self-deprecating because he didn't need to include himself, and he knows that. But he also is a leader, and he wants to lead by example, so he throws himself in the mix. He also takes accountability. He said, look, I should have finished the game. But, mate, you got 2 goals out of, really you were getting no service yet again. Same story with this City team when they go forward. He's feeding off scraps currently, and he's still performing. Now, the rest of the team, they need to take a look at themselves, Alex, because this can't go on. It really can't, because if you look long term, we have always had players that would chip in with 10, 9, 8, 11 goals a year. We always had them. And it's got to this point now where these players have started dropping off. And, obviously, Gundogan left. He came back. Then he wasn't the same level. De Bruyne is now gone. Bernardo now can't do it. And then you've replaced Mahrez as another one. You've now replaced these guys with the new breed, which has been Doku, it's been Savinho, which I've got some thoughts on that guy in a minute. And simply, we're not getting any numbers from them. We are getting nothing, Alex. And this is where Haaland is like, if I don't score, we don't win. It's as simple as that right now. There is no production from anywhere else. Phil Foden, fair enough, yeah. Foden is coming back into form, and I give him a little bit of leeway. I thought he was good in the first half. Second half, he was very quiet. But even then, that's not enough, Alex. You can't just have Foden and Haaland and go, oh, it doesn't matter, we've got the Foden-Haaland partnership. You need more than that. You really do. Yes, I'm happy with Doku in terms of his progression, But when you look at what we previously had to win a league title, you need multiple people that can chip in with double figures. And currently, I can't really put Foden back in that bracket until he proves it. So, yeah, do I think he will be at the end of the season? Yeah, probably. But Doku, am I confident he's going to get 10 goals? Not really. Am I confident Savinho's ever going to score again? Not really. You know what I mean? I know he scored in that shitty cup game, but honestly, Alex Savinho, I've seen a couple of times he's coming on. And by the way, when he scored in that cup game, he's just fucking abysmal. I don't know what we are thinking. I don't know why we are running this back with him. He is a poor player. Do you know what? Savinho has regressed since signing for this club. When he had the first, say, 3 months, I thought, we've got something here. I like what I'm seeing. He looks now scared to take a man on, and I know all the bullshit will be like, oh, Grealish, and this is what Pep does. Well, all right, well, why is Doku doing what he's doing there? You know, players have got to take some sort of accountability themselves. If you came to the club and you know what you're good at, and now you're saying, "Oh, I'm just shit at it, it's someone else's fault." No, you can't do it, and you're not productive in games. And he doesn't even look confident, Alex. When he squares his man up, he's very unorthodox, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do. He doesn't know whether he wants to go on the outside when he's playing on this left wing position. He doesn't know which way really, because if he gets shown inside, he just wants to offload it as quick as possible now. And the easy ball. He doesn't really want the ball at his feet.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, obviously linked to Savinho, but the heavy lifting Haaland's doing at the minute. Manchester City have had 5 goal scorers in the Premier League this season. 4 of them have got 1 goal to their name. Reinders, Foden, Nunes, Cherky got 1. Haaland's got 8 in 6.
Yeah.
You flip it to the Champions League. It's a similar story, Christian. Manchester City in the Champions League. They've had 2 goal scorers. Jeremy Doku got 1. Erling Haaland's got 3. That's it.
It wouldn't make for a pretty percentage, would it?
Nobody in all compositions, forgetting the Carabao, whatever happened in that game, I don't know. You said Savinho scored. In the Champions League and the Premier League, Manchester City have not got a player who scored more than 1 other than Haaland. This trend, it is a trend. It is a trend now, and you've got Haaland, and I get these interviews because he's going, you lot are taking the fucking piss now. I'm over a goal a game. So one, you're not helping me in statistics offensively, and you're also giving goals away at the back.
I think that was it. I think there was a lot of frustration yesterday. Obviously, the reporter, it was a contentious decision. It was just a poor decision, another bullshit VAR call. And they wanted Haaland to do the usual, blitz the refs and get a fine or get banned or whatever they wanted to do. And he was that annoyed. He was just like, if he's kicked him in the head, it's a penalty. And he was proper not happy at all. And I get it from him because, like you just made the point yourself, Alex, he's looking at this as a simple, boiled down version. I'm scoring every week. I mean, I'm scoring 2 most weeks. And we are not doing enough to win games. Like I said, I don't want to put too much of a negative spin on this because, like I said at the start, I do think there has been better signs. The Burnley one, Alex, when they equalised, usually we've seen these boys' heads go down. And to be fair, they fought back and we ended up with a pretty dominant, victory in that match. Yeah. And I think we were really unfortunate against Monaco. I think just an absolute ridiculous Champions League VAR decision that can happen. You know what I mean? It does. They come about, and you're not going to really you can't really avoid them these days. So yeah, I don't want to be too negative, but I think the point you raise, it is huge, and I think Cherky we're at a point where Cherky's coming back to fitness. I believe he's back in training. We need him to come back in. We need him to be one of them sort of Mahrez type numbers, and I'm being serious with that. We need 10 plus goals and 10 plus assists, because without him, and by the way, I'm talking about league-wise, if we are anything about trying to put up some sort of run or pressure in terms of winning the title, which I don't think is realistic, by the way, but I'm talking about that's where we want to be. So if you want to show some intent, we need him coming in with them numbers. If we don't, then look what the alternatives are. Bernardo, mate, you don't get anything offensively from this guy anymore. You really don't. The best hope with Bernardo is that he gets it in that, inside 10 position and he can maybe loft across. And that is it. You are not going to get anything else from him. He can't beat a man. Even when he squares his man up, he just turns around now. It has got to that point. So he's a waste of time. But then you look at it alternatively. You're like, we've got Savinho. So I find myself when Bernardo's playing and he's like turning round because he doesn't fancy the run at the fullback. I'm like, we need an attacking winger on. Savinho comes on within 5 minutes. I want him off, and it reminds me as to why Pep is playing him out wide. We do need him because he's at least a better footballer.
Of course, yeah, I know, I get your point. I think the Bernardo Silva, to your point, he's had 6 Premier League games. He's got no goals and 1 assist. You've got to throw Cherky in there on that right-hand side, leave Foden as a 10 and just run it and just see what happens. I think, obviously, the balance, you are going to lose some balance with that sort of switch, but you've got to take some of the heavy lifting off Haaland. If Haaland has a bad day, 2 bad days, appreciate he's having none at the minute, or God forbid an injury, Christian. I mean, God forbid he got injured for you. I mean, what would you?
We're fucked.
You know, you're back to whoever up top. Probably be Marmoush when he's back, and you've seen him play as a 9. He's obviously no one's near the level of Haaland. But Marmoush definitely isn't. Just to alleviate the pressure.
Just to ask you this, Alex, right? So, in terms of what I was saying before, we both agree that when Cherky's back to full fitness, Bernardo has ultimately got to come out of the team. I know for possibly big games, Pep will go Bernardo because he will want that extra kind of, defensive. However, right now, so if Cherky comes in and you're playing, your average teams at home, your Fulhams at home, whoever, and then you've got this midfield two of whoever, Reinders, Rodri, or Reinders, Kovacic, Reinders, Gonzalez. Do you agree that the space now, I think we've got to swallow it a little bit. Yes, you want Reinders to be offensive. You want him to be treble-winning Gundogan. But I think we're going too far down that route. He's playing way too high up the pitch, and we're trying to force it. He was having so many shots last night and camped on the edge of their box. And then he's one ball over the top, and Balogun's one-on-one with Vardiol, and Vardiol's puffing out of his arse, and he breezes past him. So I'm thinking, right, if you are going to come with Cherky, you ain't going to get any defensive work from it. No. And then even with these average Prem teams, if you've then got Cherky, you've got Foden, you've got Doku, Haaland, and then you're going to have Reinders pretty close to Foden, and then Rodri post ACL is going to be kind of like, Jesus boys, I mean, if there is one fuck up from one of you or one ball over the top, I mean, the job you are leaving me with, and also what's behind him, he knows all them can't run. I think it's suicide. I think for the time being, whoever it is you're deploying in them roles, you need them closer to the centre-backs, Alex. We cannot keep playing this suicidal ball of having the number 8 inches away from our number 10. You've got to respect the opponent, because right now our defence is not good enough.
You're so right. You've got to pull Reinders in my opinion, and I think there's only so many people you can carry in a Premier League game. Bernardo Silva, you don't carry him like work rate wise. However, you're not getting a load of offensive production out of the guy. You're getting he rotates possession and he runs around a lot, and that's kind of what Bernardo Silva is at the minute. But you chuck Cherky in there, mate. Reinders, you better be in there with Rodri. You leaving Rodri on his own with Cherky and Doku not tracking. Foden gets through some work, but it's difficult when you're not naturally good at winning it back. Opposition teams will go, Foden
he's more
does
of a
work.
body than he is in terms of a deterrent.
He's more of a pest off the ball than he is. He's not actually going to win it. And that's an issue, because then you go, well, if Reinders is pissed off, I've got Rodri who's severely looks struggling for fitness, and Nico Gonzalez, Christian said it himself, thinks he's a mid-table player. You can't believe in them on their own because the defence has no protection. I think you're so right. I think there's tweaks that I can see City being a decent side, honestly. I mean, look, with Haaland, you're always going to be a decent side. But and I actually see you go on, you mentioned the fixtures, win 4 out of 5. I think there's some tweaks City can make that you could go on a little run. Not the 12 in a row that you've done.
I agree. I think, look, you've always known my opinion from the start of the season, and it's not changed. I've never said that this team on this squad is going to go on to win the Premier League this year. But I think, look, the way the league is going, Liverpool are not at the level. Arsenal, they by the way, Arsenal's first half performance against, who were they playing at home? Is it Olympiacos? Yeah, I think it was Olympiacos they were playing at home. And I tell you what, for that first half, they were unbelievable. Shout out Odegaard. Fuck me. He was unbelievable. He was playing some De Bruyne-esque passes.
Well, I didn't see the Olympiacos game, Christian, but when Odegaard came on against Newcastle, that was the best I've seen him for about 18 months. And that inside pass to... whoever that left winger was it Trossard?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
He did a very similar one, but to be honest, I think it was even better. Now, and I think so. You've got Arsenal, who, yes, on their day are brilliant. However, they've still got a slip in them. You know what I mean? And then there's also the biggest problem for them. It's not the squad. They should win it. They should win it really comfortably. But with Arsenal, you've got this issue of Arteta, and is he good enough to get them over the line? Now, that's going to carry on until he does, ultimately. So City have got this opportunity to be like, right, we know where we are as a squad. Let's put a bit of pressure on, though.
Yeah.
If Cherky comes back, I like Cherky, by the way. I'm excited to see him again. Might just be because he's been injured, but
the only thing I would say is,
I do see a lot of things in him, and I think we lack any sort of creativity. We have got no sort of outlet in terms of if Foden doesn't find Haaland, or there's not a kind of opportunistic moment from Vardiol yesterday where it's dinked over the top because there was a gap. Ultimately, you want someone to be able to find something that other players can't even see. And that's what we had in De Bruyne. Now, I'm not saying Cherky is at that level, but I can certainly see signs. And I think he is key. If he comes in and he gives us that, suddenly I'm like, right, we can put a little bit of pressure and we can certainly put a run together like you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Arsenal are going to go on a little run, personally, right now. I think they've got
They should.
With their fixtures, their next 5, I've not got them in front of me, but I feel they're all very... I mean, look, my brother said it perfectly. Every game is winnable for Arsenal. If he takes the reins off, they can beat everyone in the league.
Yeah.
And the reason they've not is probably because of the way they've set up from kickoff. They've ended up ending the game with the team that should have started. And anyway, that's classic Arteta. But I do think that you're right. I think City, all you can do is look after yourself. And I think that you've got some favourable fixtures because City had a tough start. Let's not, I tell you didn't have a tough start, Liverpool, and Liverpool's tough. Liverpool's is going to get tough now, and
Liverpool have obviously they had a weird start to the season where they kept getting it over the line, and I was of the understanding of saying, well, look, they're in second gear, they're still winning, sign of champions, I was going that side. To be fair to you, you said, but what if this is it? What if this is not their second gear? What if this is 4? And now we're looking at it. They slipped to Palace. My boss is a big Liverpool fan. He even said, we should have been 4-0 down for half time. Now, look, I did not watch the game, so fucking good for him if he's wrong with that one. But now, Liverpool, I think, have been dicing with death for a while. And it's catching up on them. And then they're hitting stormy seas in terms of their fixtures at, I think, the worst time.
I think you're right. I mean, I heard Carragher talking last night about the team and how they need to go back to what they had last season, and I completely agree with him. The problem is that means you've got to potentially bench 200 million in Wirtz and one of the 2 9s that you've picked in Ekitike and Isaac missed pre-season, so you're like, Jesus, did we bench? We can't bench Isaac and Wirtz. What are we doing? But now the balance has gone. Salah's maybe regressed a little bit more than people anticipated. Van Dijk, Konate's not been at it. The fullbacks either won't or can't defend. All of a sudden, I'm looking at Arsenal and I think, mate, that back 4's strong as fuck. Timber is playing out of his mind at the moment. He's got to be one of the best fullbacks going, Timber, at the moment. Right, left back. It doesn't matter where
the only one Ten Hag didn't want.
The only one that Ten Hag didn't want. I think he's outstanding player, Yuri Timber. The midfield, obviously, Zubimendi's brought a little bit more than what Thomas Partey had. Plus, he's just an absolute twat. And if, like you said, has Eze sparked something under Odegaard? Because we've seen Odegaard be good. We've seen Odegaard be a passenger. The last couple of games, I'm thinking, Jesus, as Eze woken up something in him. Not that it should take that, Christian, but has the signing of Eze made Odegaard look in the mirror and go, I'm going to be on the bench here, the captain?
Look, maybe, bro. Do you know what? I think we should do a separate episode on it. I think we've both got quite a lot of thoughts on it in terms of the league and how interesting it is at the top of the table at the moment.
Yeah, I reckon we'll do on Monday.
Yeah. I think we're hitting a stage where, it's a key time, and I think if Arsenal go on a good run and this form continues with Liverpool, and I think Liverpool, the worst thing is, I think, yes, they've gone into the transfer market, but I think they've given themselves more headaches than they have solutions. Because right now, it's like you went to sign Ekitike, and then suddenly Isak becomes available. You always wanted Isak as your first choice, but you'd already signed Ekitike. Ekitike starts strong and looks a baller. And then you've got Isak coming in, Isak, look, I know he's grabbed a goal and stuff, but ultimately he's not looking great at the moment. I didn't expect that because of, obviously, I don't think he's been training properly or playing any games. However, it does create this issue. Then apart from that, you've got Florian Wirtz. Where are they in that situation? I mean, they're hitting a point where Florian Wirtz is going to have to come out of the team.
Yeah,
and I don't think many Liverpool fans would disagree. If you're going, bro, they lost Luis Diaz and they brought in Wirtz. And if football was as easy as FIFA, yes, it works because you go 89 rated Wirtz, Diaz 82, we'll win the league. It's never as simple as that. Luis Diaz, give them more, and that's the problem.
We saw what Soboslai thought of that 89 rated Wirtz, didn't we? On that little video.
That was not good, was it? That was really painful to watch, and then he's off. I felt a bit sorry for Wirtz with that.
That looked like the shit guy at training got a better FIFA card than me. The shit guy in training being Wirtz, Dominic Soboslai was sat there looking down his nose at that FIFA card.
And Curtis Jones giving him shit. He can fuck off, by the way, the clown.
Curtis Jones was even looking down his.
Curtis Jones is having a pop here, Jesus Christ.
I totally agree, Christian. Let's do it Monday. I think it's a great idea. Obviously, I'm going away next week, but we got Monday. That is our night to do some podcasting, so we're going to get it in then. I totally hear you, mate. I think let's get into Arsenal-Liverpool. We've got another weekend, and I tell you what, just looking at the fixtures, Christian, Arsenal have got West Ham at home. 3 p.m.
Although West Ham, actually, shout out, they had a very good performance against
they were
Everton,
good, and Nuno got on playing a little bit on Monday away at Everton, in fairness. However, Christian, Liverpool are going to Chelsea, who are under massive pressure and need a result. That 5:30 game on Saturday evening with Liverpool and Chelsea is going to... Well, look, Arsenal could be top of the league. If Liverpool slip up there, Arsenal are top of the league after this weekend, and we're going to review it on Monday. Join us for it. It's going to be great. Let us know what you think about Manchester City. Is there some good signs?
Yeah.
We've got some stuff coming up this weekend. Hopefully, maybe we can do some watch-alongs where we can. We're both busy, but I think one of us or both of us might be on. And definitely Monday, we'll have some content out for you. And then while I'm on holiday, my brother is going to be flying
holding fort.
Yeah. Some solo watch-alongs, so make sure you join him and keep him company while I'm gone. But yeah, Christian, thank you for joining me tonight. Massively appreciate it, my friend, and I will see you this weekend. See you later, everyone.
Cheers, bro.